Hello, welcome to CHRO Club. This is 2025 and this is my first interaction of the year. My guest today needs no introduction. She belongs to a company that is led by the visionary leader, Jeff Bezos. Yes, we are talking about Amazon, a pioneer in technology and customer care. And at the helm of the people function is Deepti Verma, and she's my guest of honor today. Hello, Deepti. So good to have you at CHRO Club.
Thank you, Pooja. It's always a pleasure to talk to you.
So, Deepti, tell me, have you met Jeff and how is he like?
Oh yes, I've met Jeff a couple of times, and I remember the first time I met, the first thing that actually, attracted me was his laughter, the way he is larger than life, and the way he is like adds so much of enthusiasm to every place that he is. But really speaking, if I must say that Amazon today is what it is because of the culture that Jeff has, built.
Yeah, it is amazing the kind of brand he's built and how innovation continues to drive it. You spent a large part of your career also in pharma industry, a homegrown pharma company that too. So how do you compare a tech giant like Amazon or the industry, a technology industry vis-a-vis a pharma industry from HR point of view?
I think there are quite a lot of similarities and one big difference. I'll start with the similarities that, in pharma industry, you have to work backward from the customer need and you do a lot of research because, each drug takes a lot of years to come into the market. And similarly at Amazon, you do a lot of research to make sure that what you are giving to the world is the right thing. The one big difference is that when you are in pharma, it's just one industry. But when you are with an e-commerce company, there are multiple industry within one industry. So if I say there is Amazon Prime, there is videos, there is music, there is fulfillment center, there is technology, there is non-tech teams, customer service, then there is, Alexa. So what happens is that you need to get yourself ahead of understanding each of those industry because the competitor for each of the company is like each of these businesses is a very different one. So from where do you hire? How do you, try to look at the careers of these people? What should you do in order to build them? So one of the things Jeff says is that for us to really serve the customer well, our organization should actually mirror the kind of diversity we see in our customers. Now, in some places, you're able to hire that diversity within the organization, but in some places, you may not have that kind of a thing. You'll have to like work towards it. There is similarity, but there is also dissimilarity, and I've learned immensely in my last organization, and I'm continuing to learn here at Amazon.
So, Deepti, do you have a favorite? I mean, would, let's say, logistic or tech or retail be your favorite? As a HR person, as a, decision maker, how do you balance HR processes when these multiple tracks and multiple industries?
Yeah, so you're asking a mother, do you have a favorite child? The answer is no, I don't have. But I will tell you one thing that I feel that our role as an HR, if you take a step back, is not to do everything. It is to facilitate the leaders who will do those things. So even when it comes to diversity, I've had a lot of people who will say, oh, this is an HR function. And I say, no, not at Amazon. At Amazon, we enable the leaders to drive the diversity, equity, inclusion agenda. So I think I don't have a favorite, but I do feel that my job has evolved over the years that, now it is about facilitating and making the leadership feel enabled that they are able to take the right decisions for the employees.
Interesting. So, world over, there is a saying that everybody wants to join a FANG company, Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, or Google. You being one of them. So, do you feel pressurized to live up to, that thing which is there about being the best employer? So, people come with those kind of expectations and, how do you kind of nurture those kind of experiences for them?
Firstly, thank you. It's really heartening to hear that people want to join Amazon. I hope that we create a frustration-free employee experience that people continue to join Amazon. It is both challenging and it is also rewarding, I must say, in some sense. Challenging because and in a lot of places we are pioneers, we don't have people that we could emulate from. So you are trying a lot of new things. So you need to be right a lot. You need to look at data and anecdotes to make the right decision. But at the same time, I feel that because you're a pioneer, you are inventing on behalf of customers. So it's a green, playing field, and you could, experiment. So in some ways, I feel it is also rewarding because you get to experiment a lot. I will tell you one thing that Jeff's favorite quote is that don't go behind competition, work backwards from customer. And I think for us, that's most important, that we don't look at what other organizations are doing. We kind of pave the path, looking at customers and seeing what we need to do. And for us, for HR, the customer is our employees.
So, some industries such as retail, attrition numbers are very high, within in companies in India for sure. So, in Amazon, do you see lower numbers?
Yeah, our attrition is less than in single digits. I would say that.
Okay, even for retail industry.
Even for retail industry, it is in single digits. So we are kind of comfortable. I've myself been here for 13 years. You'll see that people who are able to identify with the culture, they stick around with Amazon. I in fact joke with my son. I say that after I've worked with Amazon, I don't know whether I'll be able to adjust to a culture which would be different from Amazon, because I love the independence. You work like as if this is your own company. You take decisions and you celebrate failures here. Like I've failed so much, as I told you, but there's always a safety net that people celebrate that, okay, you failed. That means you took risk, you failed, and you learned from those.
So, given that Amazon is known for its cutting edge technologies, how are you translating that into HR with respect to all the AI, Gen AI, blockchain, whatever technologies that we hear getting into the HR function?
Yeah, very good question. So I'll be honest that even before COVID happened, Amazon was a global company where people were working in a hybrid situation across. So most of the products that we had made were keeping in mind the not just the kind of employee base that we were working with, but also because global teams come together to work. So I'll give you an example of one of the tools called Connections that we have. Connection basically does that it pops in one question on your computer as soon as you open, which talks about different aspects that will tell us whether you're happy employee or there are aspects about things that you would want to change. Now imagine there is 365 questions in a year, and there is data for all the teams that you have. Now managers need to make decision basis that data, so you need to get managers trained to look at that data. It was a great tool for us to enable people to have real-time feedback kind of a thing. So we've always used technology to enable processes, but kept the human touch alive, so that technology is able to simplify life. I just wanted to ask you, do you shop at Amazon?
Yes.
Okay, of course.
I'm a big fan.
Yeah,
I'm a big
thank you for that. No one must have taught you how to shop at Amazon. It was simple, intuitive.
Yeah, because it was reasonable, it was cost effective. That's how I got into it, because I loved reading books.
Yeah.
And to get books from a bookstore was far more expensive than get it in Amazon.
Yeah. So similarly, when we introduce technology for our processes, for our HR processes, I think one thing that we keep thinking is that whatever technology we introduce should be globally aligned. Second, whatever technology we introduce should be simple and intuitive, that you don't need to teach someone how to use it. And the third one, which is most important one, is that people across the world should be able to use it. Now, Japan actually came up with a technology that as soon as anything comes in, it gets translated into the local language. As soon as Japan team did that, we realized that we not only it could be converted in Japanese, it could be converted in 129 languages. And suddenly that became so important. So I think experimentation and innovation happens at different levels, and that is what we have enabled using technology.
Very interesting. Next, I'd like to ask you, Deepti, is that, we've heard about the leadership principle at Amazon called Day One. Can you tell our viewers more about it?
Yeah, of course. So I will first take a step back to tell you what day one actually means and why was that term coined. So when you join an organization on the first day, you have butterflies on your stomach, you're sitting on the edge of the chair, you have all the dreams that I'm going to make a legacy here. And that feeling over a period of time, once you start working with the organization, kind of dips. So Jeff basically said, I don't want that spirit to go away. Every day should be like day one. Every day when you're coming to the organization, you should have butterflies in your stomach. And that's the spirit that we actually celebrate at Amazon. I feel for me every day has been a day one. And there is one video of Jeff which is very close to my heart, which he says that if we ever become a day two company, it's death for us. Like he says that we should always be working backwards from the customer needs and raising the bar. And for me within HR is that if you connect with the employees continuously, learn from what is working well, not working well, you will be able to work backwards. Like we actually mandate even the HR employees to go out in the field, to, sometimes deliver those packages, to listen to the customer calls, to sit through the fulfillment center, to understand, what business we are supporting so that you could work backwards from the customer needs.
Yeah, I think the customer obsession, passion is quite evident,
It's
which
quite
we read
evident.
so much
That's
about
right,
it.
yeah.
So, I totally understand there is a very high performance culture at Amazon. But with this high performance culture, how do you balance work-life integration, mental well-being, overall well-being of the employees?
Yeah, no, of course, it's a very good question. And I'll tell you, it was a wake-up call for me around the time when COVID happened. There was so much of, I will talk to you about my own self. I had my in-laws and my, mother who was, having COVID, and I had such a challenge just to find a hospital bed and all. And then I realized what employees would be facing and how much, you go through the stress just to make your family be comfortable. And at that time, we actually launched something called as COVID Warriors, where all the employees who wanted to volunteer to help, they came together. But that actually opened doors for us to think about how should we look at physical, mental well-being of people, including financial well-being, because some of the people hadn't even planned some of those things. So from that time, our journey has been even more. While we had some of these things like EAP support and so on and so forth, we actually used AI now to, check whether the person is feeling well or not. It asks you a question proactively, because a lot of time there is this taboo where people don't want to go and start asking for help, and we said no, we don't need to wait for someone to start feeling unwell to go and ask for help. And that has really helped us. We have a lot of initiatives like Swasthya. We have a lot of those initiatives which helps in mental health and well-being. But we also have a lot of these, games and things that happen within Amazon. There's a competition about how physically you're fit, how are you socially, mentally, connecting with people. And that has helped us to build the right culture. Having said that, I think work-life harmony has been a very important thing for all of us. And, I've realized that working with global teams, sometimes you're working across the time zones. So we have been very flexible in asking people to do what they feel is right. And you don't need to be answerable that just because, I'm working at this shift, should I still be coming? There is no office timing. Suit yourself and, pace yourself according to the assignment that you're doing, and then do it, kind of a thing.
How do you hire for your own teams? If you're hiring, HR professionals and building your own team, what are the traits you look for?
Yeah. Of course, leadership principles is something that we hire, across Amazon, because we feel that you're not hiring for the position, but you're hiring a leader at Amazon. So it should be such that a person should be able to identify with the culture. And if the person is able to identify with the culture, they can do any role at Amazon. So for us, making sure that the person is aligned to the culture and is able to, identify is very important. And similarly in HR. But there is one tenet in HR which is very close to my heart, which says that when policy is at odds with common sense, we will make high judgment decisions. Because it says that no policy can be made in such a way that, you know, it will encompass all aspects. There would be certainly certain aspects which cannot be there. And, you know, among all the leadership principles, one leadership principle I make sure I look at when I'm hiring HR people is, are right a lot. Is this person having the ability to make right judgment calls, looking at data and anecdotes? So that's the one which is the most closest.
Yeah, I'm just reminded that when Ratan Tata passed away recently, a lot of his, life and history and sayings were out into the media. And there was one person who said that he had asked Ratan Tata that how you succeed in business or in corporate world. And he said, all you need is common sense.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
The HR role has evolved a lot in recent times,
Yes.
from the time you started to maybe currently. So today there are three other pillars which are very important for HR leaders, such as you, like probably psychological safety, DE&I, well-being. So how do you kind of find a sweet spot between focusing on core HR practices and these critical pillars?
Yeah. As I said before, these critical pillars are for the leaders to do. We are enabling them. Our role as HR is to enable the leader to understand what does diversity, equity, and inclusion mean. But the front ending of that has to be done by them. So, like, I would say that as an HR, our biggest responsibility would be to enable the manager who's front ending with the employees. We could come up with all policies, processes, everything, but if we are not able to enable, the experience of that employee goes for a 6 because the manager is not, really translating that into them. So I think core HR thing hasn't changed for us at all. What we are doing is doubling down in enabling the leaders in order to, do the right thing for the customer.
So, one transformative aspect of HR that has you excited for future?
Yeah, that's a very interesting and close to my heart, so for me, diversity is not just about gender. It is about gender, PWD, LGBTQ, veteran, people with different backgrounds, people from different nationality. So I remember that we were hiring some people, and there was this person who was blind who was hired for an internship with Amazon. And he started researching about a technology, and he realized that some of the technology that we have may not be supporting blind people. So he actually joined hand with the tech teams to enable a technology that can help a lot of people who are blind. And we called it Project Dawn, and not only we were able to enable him, he was able to hire a lot more people who he knew from his background who could join Amazon. And that actually opened our eyes. So we now have an accessibility team who basically works on different technologies for people with disabilities. So I think that was a very touching moment for me, and that comes to life when you ask me, because we don't know how technology is enabling so many lives, and we just need to keep our ears and eyes open.
Lastly, Deepthi, I'd like to ask you is that how is Amazon creating a talent ecosystem? I mean, how early do you start with internship, industry, academia, relationships, and then you hire them? How are you managing that entire circle?
Actually, today we are here for Amazon Future Engineer program. So while I'll talk to you about my hiring this thing, I certainly want to talk about Amazon Future Engineer program. Let me start with that, and then I'll come to the normal hiring. When we were hiring, of course, we go to all premier institutes and we offer internship, and obviously with the brand that we have, we get the right spots in the college. But we realized that we are missing out on a lot of people who are from background where they have financial challenges to go through, their education, especially tech education. So Amazon actually started the scholarship where they said we will give scholarship to 500 people who are, 500 women who want to, pursue tech education, but may be coming from humble backgrounds who may not be able to afford that education. We had 12,000 people who actually applied, and we had 500 people who were given this aid. Among those 500 people, 200 actually went to do internship with Amazon, and we didn't lower the bar for them. We kept the same bar, and they did so well that some of them now have got offered to join Amazon. And so it's a great way for us to touch lives of people across India. That's the part where and if we have time, I would love to, show
Yes,
you
I'd like to
today.
see.
So I was just looking at some of the stalls that have been put up, and there was this girl who was talking about, that when old people walk, they need someone to carry the stuff they are carrying, and she created a robotic who could carry all that. And there are these young girls of 10th and 12th, who are coming together, and whatever is the need that they felt in their village, they are actually working and using technology towards that. So I just feel that there's so much of innovation that happens. It's just that they are bubbling with ideas, and we would need to just support them. And I would love to show you what they've done.
Yes, I'd also love to see. And I think this is so important for a country like India, where we've got the demographic advantage of having an average age of 29.5.
Yes.
So, when organizations like Amazon work at the grassroots level, there is so much more we can do. And I think that's why India is going to be the next superpower.
Absolutely.
What's that one piece of advice you would like to give, people who have started their HR professionals or are in the mid-journey of their careers?
I'm actually no one to give advice to anyone. I'm still learning, so would love to take advice from people. And I've read this article which says that if you are over 40, you should get advice from people who are under 20. And if you are under 20, you should get advice from
That
over...
is beautiful. That is a lovely thing.
But I will
Yeah.
tell you what has worked for me is that there is a tagline at Amazon which says, work hard, have fun, make history. Sometimes we are so bothered about working hard and making history, we forget this thing about having fun. And if you enjoy and bring your authentic self to work, you can have fun at work also. So I think it's important as HR professional that we should enjoy the journey. It's not just about a sprint, it is a marathon. Last but not the least, in this setup that we are, you always need to be globally relevant, because now it's not just about the work that you do, it is about, all the countries are coming closer, so you should learn the laws about different countries. That will help you to be more nimble.
Yeah, I think everybody should be a global mindset at least to kind of progress. So great, Dipti. It was wonderful meeting you, talking to you. I've learned so much today. I think, for my first CHRO club interaction, I was so nervous, but so excited. I'm going to treat each interaction as my first interaction and feel every day as my day one at work.
Yeah.
So thank you, viewers. That's all we have today. And, these CHRO club interactions are so close to my heart because it's not only talking to a leader, but also making new friends. Thank you. Thank you so much, Deepti, for joining.
Thank you, Pooja. Seriously, I've also made a new friend. Thank you so much for interacting with me today.